Hello, and welcome to my channel, Practical Nutrition with Coach Laura. Today I'd like to tell you a little bit about me and how nutrition has impacted my mood and my cognitive function. Growing up, I ate a pretty healthy diet compared to most people. Our family ate mostly homemade foods, and junk foods were just for special occasions. The only problem was my mom liked to come up with special occasions pretty often. And if we made it ourselves, it wasn't considered junk food, so we did a lot of baking. Overall, I had very little interest in health or nutrition, although my mom went through a few health nut phases. At 20, I married a man with cystic fibrosis, a disease which affects many things, including his digestive system. Because I wanted my husband to be as healthy as possible, I started learning about nutrition and putting it into practice with him. He really was my first coaching client / guinea pig. A few years into our marriage, we adopted and ended up with 4 boys. They became my next clients. For the next several years, I really threw myself into being a full-time wife and mom and managing all the various conditions that my family had, always trying to learn more, dig deeper, hoping to find the magic bullet. Because the therapies and the special diets that I did had good results, I was motivated to try even harder. Those were some intense years, and my body seemed to kind of give out on me as a result. I was eating healthy, following the plan that's really the framework for this plan, but it was not enough to handle the underlying gut problems I was unaware of, nor the high stress my body was under. I spiraled downwards, both mentally and physically. I spent hours on the couch, my brain swirling with unconnected thoughts. Even scrolling my phone was too much effort. If my sons asked me for something basic like a drink of water, I would freeze, utterly overwhelmed by having to make a decision and act. I felt like I was drowning, and I had no energy to keep my head above water. One evening, after a very minor misunderstanding with my husband, I left the house in a frenzy, just trying to escape. I only had enough energy to get to the lawn chair in our backyard, and I sat there just staring down the road, wanting to get away, but not having the strength to even hold up my head. I finally went to a local general practitioner doctor who offered me antidepressants, saying you probably don't need them, but they might help you. I turned them down. I knew there was something else that was the deeper reason for my breakdown. A naturopath helped me discover a lot of what was going on, and it basically boiled down to having poor gut health. I've been working on my gut health ever since. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, but I continue to make headway. One of the very first signs that indicate that something is awry in my gut is my mental state. I have learned over the years to pay attention to my thought patterns without being too introspective or overly analytical. This is where counseling is so important. Managing those thought patterns is vital to good mental health. Nutrition alone cannot do it. I've discovered this. However, I have learned that my gut health and the food that I eat impacts my mental state very quickly. It is not a slow or gradual change. When I let myself eat something that I know causes inflammation in my body, within hours, I can be paying the price with anxious and depressive thoughts. It is important to point out here that inflammation does not directly cause anxious or depressive thoughts. What actually happens is that the inflammation sends a message to your brain that something's off in your body, which signals an increase of stress hormone production in an attempt to help the body deal with danger, danger, danger. This then puts people at a disadvantage if they already have underlying psychological factors that they're already dealing with. It makes it harder for them to get a rein on everything when their hormones are so high. Thanks to managing thought patterns, I do not have these kinds of thoughts on a daily basis anymore, and I'm able to recognize their resurgence much more quickly. Now, with a combination of good nutrition and better gut health, I'm able to help my body not feel the need to ramp up my nervous system, which then helps keep those anxious and depressive thoughts at bay. When they do arise, I work on my gut health and I use the techniques that I've learned to manage my thought patterns. My own experience and the experiences of my husband and sons, who have their own stories, have made me very passionate about health and nutrition, especially as it affects mood and cognitive function. I have had a burning desire to share that passion with others for years. And a few years ago, I finally decided to start bringing that dream to life. I started studying more in earnest rather than just a hobby. I became a certified coach with the Trim Healthy Lifestyle program, the approach that really gave me the framework to get my health back. I've expanded that training with studying on mental health specifics that relate to nutrition, hoping to make this information more accessible for the people who really need it. My unique program, called Nutrition and Your Mood, is the product of all these hours of study and real-life experience. It's a 12-week course designed specifically for individuals who are struggling with mood issues and they want to support their recovery through changes in nutrition. The information is set out in short, daily sections, and it's coupled with practical steps to help you take action, as well as one-on-one coaching with me. For more information about my program, please check out my Facebook page, Practical Nutrition with Coach Laura, or send me an email at practical.nutrition06@gmail.com. These links can be found in the video description below. Thanks for watching, and let's go get better health.